I'm showing you guys how to install molding. This is a life-proof vinyl floor that I've put in over here. And the reason I'm making this video is because there's not a lot on explaining how to do the molding and how to put it in. They just sell you the product. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how this clips in. It's got some little, what do you call those, notches put in there. And the way this thing works is this one has one notch on each end. So when this is put into it, once you're done and you got it in place, this will snap on, and the harder you squeeze it, the more it goes in. Clip, 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 and you can actually slide it out this way if you mess up. You don't want to pull it out of itself this way. You'll mess up all these little hook clips, whatever. So let's get to the point that's important. This is a floating floor. Being a floating floor, you have to keep that 1/4 inch gap up against the wall, away from the wall. So this floor is allowed to contract and retract or contract or whatever you call it. Anyways, it expands and contracts. So what I did here was I had this at this space before I started. So this piece was together. So I used my oscillating tool. I took into account the measurement of this up against here. Let me try to get my tools out of the way for you guys. You see that? You want this to be leveled with your next floor. This is actually a reducer. They make one that's a T and they make one that reduces down. Because my floor wasn't leveled, my tile is much higher here than it is here. If you're working with a T molding, it will look exactly like a T and it won't have this reducing end right here. Well, mine does, so it doesn't matter if you do or don't. So once I screw this in, I know this is gonna sit just a hair under. Look at that. It's just a hair under, like maybe a millimeter under. So I'm actually going to use this piece, push it forward, and I'm gonna screw this bracket up against that wall. That 1/4 inch gap is gonna stay there, and when I go to snap this in, I know it's gonna be flush. So if I wasn't to use this piece, which they don't tell you to, this has to be raised to the higher side of the tile. I hope this is making sense. I'm trying to explain it the best I could. Like I said, there's not a lot out there. As long as this is sitting here and this piece here is flush now, when I go to snap this in, it will fit like a glove. If I didn't use this piece under it to raise up this piece, my molding would not snap into place. Or if it did, it would barely catch it. It would just be a hair on that first clip. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure your product lasts forever. This piece is going to be raised. I got my 1/4 inch gap here, which is going to stay, and everything will work perfect. So now I'm going to just screw this in just like that with a bunch of screws all over the place. And they give you like 4 screws for this 6-foot strip. Well, I'm going to use my own box of screws. I'm not going to use 4 screws. I need about 20 or 10. Okay, so I'm going to put this in and show you guys how it looks. Just snapped in this section. You guys can see how it's going. And that's it. Everything will be flush. And you could just feel it locking into place just perfectly. It doesn't get better than that. Make sure it's all pressed in. I've heard a lot of people complain about this and said, oh, it keeps wanting to pop itself out. That's because you didn't make sure that your prep work was right. And you didn't make sure that it was in place. So that's about it, guys. And this is solid. I already know it's not gonna come out. It ain't coming out. And it looks nice and got it in place. So hopefully this video helps you out on how to install this thing. So thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up.